is your 12 personnel. So if you want to go ahead and talk about that and how well that might be for Alabama, then now would be the time to do so.
Okay. Yeah. While he's queuing that up, so we want to talk about 12 personnel and how this actually looks and works. Uh, so let me give you a couple stats about it. So 12 personnel mean there's two tight ends and one running back in the game. A lot of different formations come out of it, but I thought there was some interesting stats, JT, that came out of it. Now, I just broke down the first half, and this may surprise some of you guys, but in the first half, we ran 12 personnel almost 40% of the plays. That's pretty big, I think. Out of those plays, it was 2-to-1 run versus pass. So, and there's only one negative play out of all of it. So, what I want to talk to JT about when it comes to this is what two tight ends, regardless of how many other people are in the game, what two tight ends will do to defenses because of the extra gaps that it brings to the table. And I think that's why it's going to be successful for someone like Jalen Milroe. And we'll dive into that a little more, why they can run him out of that or run running backs out of it. Because typically when you see two tight ends, you actually see two running backs. But because of the way Jalen Milroe runs, I think that's an advantage because he can pull the ball, which he did in the game and scored a touchdown. So JT is going to be showing you some of that, and then we want to break that down, and I want to hear JT's defensive take on, if I'm right, about this two tight end set being a problem for our opposing teams all year long.
Yeah. So I'll run this first clip. We got two receivers at the top of the screen. We've got one back in the backfield, and we have two tight ends at the bottom of the screen. So this is twins on one side, and you've got a tight end and a wing, if you will, on the other. Why I think this two tight ends is always a problem, because you have a situation where now you have extra gaps, right? You usually only have 4 down linemen. Now they put 6 out there. You've created an A gap or you've created an extra D gap somewhere. And on this side, you've actually created a D gap and an E gap, which is hard to defend. You typically need to bring somebody else into the box, whether that be another linebacker or another safety. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to roll this clip a little bit.
Keep talking. Keep talking, please. I'm sorry, I just got to refresh because I can't see
Oh,
that.
okay. And I actually want to get to the end zone copy here. So what we're looking at is we have a shade, a nose. Well, actually, he's in a 2-eye, and we have a wide 5 to our left, and we have a linebacker inside of this gap. So you can see, you actually can't see my pointer, you can't see my cursor, but we have a guy that is responsible for A gap. We have a linebacker responsible for B gap, and then we have a defensive end that's responsible for C gap. And then going the other direction, we have a middle linebacker who's responsible for strong side A gap. We have another defensive tackle who's in strong side B. We have a linebacker in strong side C, and then we have a defensive end in strong side D. But there's still an extra gap outside of number 84, which is Amari Niblack, which is going to have to be taken care of by a safety. Now, as we roll this, you say, okay, defender, we're all good. We've got our +1. But now you've got run action at you, which is going to free some folks. And we got to pull, and now we have one-on-one, and Jalen Milroe is just faster than these two guys out here. So this is the thing that's most problematic when it comes to defending the this 12 personnel here. So I think we've got something up on the whiteboard So I'm going to switch over so that we can see that a bit better. Here we go.
Is that too much light on?
No, we're good. You can see it. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah. So as JT was saying here, and the problem is this is the tight end, so I don't know if we need to put that in here. These both the tight end.
Yeah. So the other thing that you might want to add, though, is the way that they played this. They actually pulled the corner over.
Over here.
The corner that you have, yes, they put him over the slot. There you go.
So they're short. They're definitely short a guy.
Yep.
Over here. Right. Because I think he went out. He went out like this.
Mm-hmm.
Usually pull him out there. Then there's the down block. All action going this way. Quarterback takes it, goes out this way. So what JT was saying, I think, is absolutely right, because this guy's got a flow. For him to hold back is kind of that's not going to happen, right? But I think JT, as you saw as well, I think you did a tremendous job of explaining it all. I think what I need people to understand also is that the formation can look different with the same people, which you even got in your high school game where they have the tight ends opposite each other.
Yeah, and I actually think that this is more problematic.
Yes, so you could get the same look as far as
well, even put the back on the other side.
Yeah.
This to me is one of the most difficult formations to actually defend. Be gap
There's
sound.
too many gaps.
Yes.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gaps. With these guys, you got to figure out how many people you're going to put in here and how you're even going to match up with these guys. So even if you take 2 corners over here, I don't know if you want to be man to man. Only you still got to keep a free safety, and I don't know what you're doing over here. There's another.
Well, we kept our other safety backside to play knee gap.
You know, so it just that's why I think this is going to be really good for Jalen Milroe, because what you typically don't account, you typically only account for one running back, but because of who this guy is and the other ones, because they ran the same plays even when they put Buckner and Ty Simpson in. It all looked the same, and they both just pulled the ball out and went the other direction. So I'm kind of excited about it. People think, well, this is a run formation. It is. But when you have a number 84 in the game, then wherever you decide to hide him, someone's got to cover him, right? Because they actually did this in the game too. So that was number 84. That's too many looks to be trying to figure out where he is. And, you can go out here and throw the ball, and you got to figure out who's going to match up with him. So it gets hairy there, right? So, okay. I think how much more we need to hit on that. I think the main thing is I want to talk about those stats. One that was really interesting to me, because out of the 35 plays they had in the first half, 13 of them were 12 personnel. 9 of them were on forward pass. Everything was positive except for one play. Plus 25, plus 3, plus 3, plus 1, plus 5, plus 7, plus, just crazy on the runs. Only one that did have a negative early. We probably didn't block it right or something like that. 2nd and 3, and we had a negative play. So I think it's going to be interesting. All right, what did Brad say right there?
Brad Smith asked, with targeting in place, a DB can get ejected at any time. Is it worth risking a DB as a punt returner?
when is your best guy?
Yeah, so there was a couple of things that were going through my head that just short circuited for me. Yes, I'm sure Coach Saban would say we're putting the best 11 on the field. I don't care what position he plays. If he's that dynamic of a returner, yes. The other thing I thought of is if he's the punt returner, he shouldn't be getting targeting calls called on him. So at the very least, like if the DB gets ejected, what you've lost is the collateral damage is the punt returner now. Not, you lose a guy on punt, you don't get ejected on punt return and then lose a guy on defense. Does that make sense?
That's right. That's right. And I would even go a step further with um, Nick Saban always tries to find extra value to get a guy drafted even higher. So if you're a good DB and you can return punts and you can return kicks, is that and factor that that's his selling point. I think I'm saying, but, hey, you just don't have to be stuck out here. I am going to give you a chance to shine. Um, in other ways to help your draft ability.
For sure. John Davis has made me think of when Jamison Williams got ejected in the 2021 Auburn game when he was on punt coverage. I mean, yeah, that happens, but he's the fastest dude on the team. He's got to be a gunner. That's the way it works.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily be afraid because, one, the value that you can create. But we'll get to defense here in just a sec. But I think special teams, you can lose games as well. So if you're just putting people out there just to give your guys a rest, it doesn't happen. When you get to the league, if you look at it, there's still guys out there that are on special teams. Yeah, you have to make the team maybe as a backup to try to do that. But, I mean, there are players that Dion was a punt returner, and there's plenty in the league now that you still can say, okay, why is he returning kicks? But
so the rebuttal is, say Kool-Aid goes down on punt return and then Arnold gets ejected next series in a blink, you're down top two corners. What I would say is that punt return is not the issue. The issue is you have guys that are targeting people. That can happen whether they're on defense or not. So the root cause is not because they're returning punts. The root cause is that they're getting ejected for targeting.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Anything else we need to cover on that part? You think?
No, I don't think so. We can start going into your clips that you picked out for defense.
Okay. Well, I see you got one pulled up, but I'm not even really sure what the.
Yes. So this is the one that you were talking about for
corner.
Yes, the corner at the top of the screen here and his technique.
Okay, I don't necessarily be on the board. Well, I do want people to see this because JT and I spend a lot of time talking about different things on alignment and technique, right? So I think they're doing a pretty good job disguising what this is. It looks like too high. And me and JT will try to dive into this a little bit more, but I want you to watch the guy at the top because he is in man coverage. And the alignment in which you do on the bell, he's already outside of this guy. And your free safety is going to the middle of the field. He can't, just with this technique, JT, if you're talking about, he can't cover that the way with his butt to the sideline, the guys running in. And these guys aren't as good as some of these guys are going to play against Tennessee. That this becomes a problem. Not because of the scheme, but because of the technique. That's what bothers me the most about this. And particularly, you got a guy hurt, you got a backup guy in who's maybe not as good and can't play as well. So I don't know if this is him just doing his own thing or whatnot, but in my mind, I think what the cornerback is doing up top is wrong. You can roll it, then you can talk about it a little bit more and give me your feedback as well.
Okay, so I've looked at this clip a bit, and I'm trying not to roll it all at one time, just so there's a chance that YouTube doesn't make me take this down. I over the offseason, I studied a lot of quarters from Cody Alexander. He was at Baylor for a long time, so it's a little bit taken from Dave Aranda. And we know that Coach Saban is a Rip Liz match 3 guy. So I've kind of blended a couple of systems, what we do at John Paul between quarters and then Rip Liz match 3. Not quite all the same, but we take a quarters approach to everything. That being said, I did study a bit of what Saban likes to do, particularly in his cover 3 things. And what I think is happening here is they're rolling strong. So this is I don't know what tag they use. I don't know if they're calling it 3 sync or 3 buzz. We call it 3 buzz. But basically what that means is this corner up here should have what I call mod technique, MOD, man, outside, and deep. It's a way, and this is what at least what I tell our kids, this is a way for us to get to play deep third without actually telling the kid that he has deep third, because the connotations that the players have when you say, hey, you got deep third, is not exactly what I want them to do. So I just tell them, hey, you have man outside. If that guy goes outside or if he goes deep, he's yours. But if he goes inside, that's somebody else's problem. So what I actually think is going here, and I'll roll the clip just a little bit, is so this linebacker that's dropping out, he has what I call cough technique. Cough, COF, curl over flat. So what I think actually should be happening here is he is supposed to sit under this slant route.
Through the slant to the running back. Uh-huh.
Right. And he is supposed to let that running back and pass it off to the corner. And the corner is going to take this wheel. But he ran past the slant.
Look at him. I mean, he went straight to the guy.
Right. So I'm thinking that this linebacker is the guy that's actually wrong here.
Number 30 going the wrong direction, you mean? Or
I think he's supposed to sit.
Okay.
I don't think he should be. I don't think he should be running past to get out to the back. I think he's supposed to sit here.
And once the wheel comes up, corner to take.
Yes, and the corner is supposed to fall off, and I think that's why you're seeing the corner play the technique that he does. Because even though this is, as far as like backpedaling versus shuffling, I don't like that they shuffle here, but we can get into that later. But if he's gonna shuffle, this is shuffle, and then I think he sees this dude is now undressed, and he's coming down to get it late, but he's really supposed to stay out here for this wheel route. Then whoever, I don't know what that number is, but this backer
agree,
here is
but look at what the backer does. Look at what the other backer does, though, JT. I'm 100% on board with you. It just makes me.
Which one? Who you talking about? You talking about the one that's blitzing here?
No, the backer on the hash mark.
Oh, yes.
He's completely turning his back. Because if you're going to be passing off, because there's no way the linebacker at that top is going to be able to run with this guy. If he just ran an under or something. I get what you're saying that he's going to sit, but the way that this other linebacker is running to the trip side, he has number 83 essentially from the other hash. The way they're playing this, Malachi, I think this Malachi is walling off. Is it number 3?
No, that's the number 2 receiver.
Number 2 now, and he's going to number 3.
Oh,
so
no.
Yeah. Even in this case, the backer at the top would have a hard time covering this wide receiver into the middle of the field if he stops. And to me, that's problematic as well.
Yeah, I think it's hard to tell without actually knowing what they called, what it is, but some
Yeah.
one or two people here are incorrect.
Okay. Yeah. I'm good with that. Okay. So that's all. I just want to hit on the technique up there, and I think we talked about that a lot. So this play right here that we're showing on the board, this ends up being quads, as we said. It's trips left, and then
Oh yeah, so I want to talk about this because um, there is, again, I don't actually know how they're playing this. All I can say is, as how I've set up my system, I don't like how they did this, because quads is always a problem when you got trips plus the back. I know a lot of people, when they hear quads, they're thinking four receivers, but quads is also when you have three receivers on one side and the back is on that side. Now they're trying to outnumber you. So as Saban always likes to do, and most coaches, I think most defensive coaches want to have +1. So they want to have 5/4 and 2/1.
so while you're doing that, let me draw up what we're looking at here, right? Because you tell me as a defensive coordinator, there's three in the, I know we call it quads or not, running back right here, right?
Yes.
There's still only a corner, safety. I think he's outside of this guy. I'm not really sure. Another safety that's deep, and this backer, he's kind of far inside, right?
Yeah, I don't want him. I don't really want him getting outside of a 50 technique.
Out of the what technique?
50.
Okay. So, and then when this guy comes out here like this, now, I mean, you're expecting this guy to make the play, so they're going to get blocked.
Yeah. Well, as I say, in my case, what we do on defense, I do not expect that dude to make the play.
Right. So this guy, he doesn't have to come all the way out here, but he needs to move a little bit, right? At least with the motion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So, now we did a really good job running to the ball and some other plays and all this kind of stuff. These are just the things, the matchups that I think you start to see. The better teams that you're going to see a lot of this. So we're just getting the ball out here quick, right? So go back and show that again if you can.
Yeah. Browser. Gotta find the play again. Here it is. So this is the thing that confuses me the most. And this is kind of just where like the ignorance is of like I don't really understand what they're trying to do. But I kind of think it's gonna get him in trouble later. This is what I see. So notice at the beginning of the clip, right? We've got 4 down. We got 4 down, even though this guy's really an outside linebacker, right? And we've got 2 linebackers. And then as the motion happens, he drops out, and then we're bringing pressure from the backside. So now he becomes the defensive end. So I think where we start getting confused, because at least this is the way that I would teach our defense is, let's just say it's a 2x2 set and the back is to whatever side. Let's say the back is set strong. I tell the linebacker, hey, you need to give a push alert to the nickel, which would be Malachi in this case. Say, hey, if that back comes out, we have to push the coverage over. Right? You're not only concerned about number 2, because number 2 is probably going to come inside, and then the running back is now your new number 2, all that good stuff. Push, push, push. So now when we get to, I'm going to freeze it here. Now that we're in quads, I expect 2 push alerts. A push alert from the backside backer saying push, 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 because we might have to push 2 people over now, especially if that back release is outside like he did. But I'm not sure that they can do something like that because they have a outside linebacker slash defensive end that just drops into coverage now. And as we said before,
he's your other pusher. He's got to come all the way to number 2.
right. And as we said before, now you get this backer, this other backer, is looking at number 65 pull, and he's like, hey, if it's draw here and they're gonna pull, that's now my responsibility, which is either misalignment or poor alignment, because regardless, right? You have a backer that used to be playing A to B gap, and now he's got D gap because he's the guy that's coming off the edge, and the only guy that's going to be there for backside B gap is the safety standing at 12 yards or this other linebacker who's in quite literally in the middle of the field.
So in layman's term, what JT is saying here, is essentially take the running back out of motion, right? Freeze it back. So if they actually ran the ball to the other side with this play, that backer to the bottom side that's in the middle of the field still would need to tackle the running back if he broke through the line at any point, because there's only
as it sits right now, this picture,
it's only going to be 5 bucks.
They're okay against the run. Now, I don't like that Caleb Downs is so far off of number 3. I think that's a problem.
He's 15 yards back.
Yeah, he's forever away. If I was like Ole Miss or somebody, I would just smoke this dude and just throw it right to him right now and say, hey, just pick up these 5 yards. Like, that dude, he's not going to get there that fast. But once they motion the back, as a offensive coordinator, I'm like, look at how much space you have backside, because everybody's standing over here. Everybody's at the bottom of the screen, and we can block this up top, and you have a linebacker who's responsible for that. But I think that maybe this is one of the ones that Coach Saban was saying this was a problem, or one of the formations that confused them. And I don't know what all their rules are, but this simple motion right here, I think, discombobulated the entire defense on what their rules were supposed to be.
Well, if you're lined up like that, I still think Malachi, he still has the outside alignment on number 2. And I don't know, we talked about this, a little bit.
Well, I can get on the board and show you what coverage what they're actually running at this point, and then
I know you're saying they're playing cover 2 basically down here at the bottom.
Yeah, so there's a receiver that Kool-Aid is standing over that he's supposed to just take man to man, and they're gonna play cover 2 over these 2 receivers, or read 2, not just a straight cover 2, read 2 over these guys.
I don't know, but it's still where the linebacker is. They're asking the defensive end to get to the slot guy.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. This is
asking the defensive end to get to the slot guy, and that's no problem. I mean, even they could raise up and throw it to him, run a little spot. They could run a bubble.
Yeah, and if 8 wasn't, or whoever that slot receiver wasn't soft as cushions, maybe it's number 9, because he ain't want no parts of this.
No, he's not going to block it. So I don't know. Those are little things that I think just come up in play. So now look at this alignment. This is not similar because there's.
Well, this is empty.
It is similar, but the running back is empty. So I'm looking at really more at the trip side of how they're lined up and where the backer is. He's apex this time. In the back's not even up there this time. So to me, it's a better alignment, in one sense, I think. just because of the alignment like that. I mean, they could eventually get to the same thing. Like they're eventually going the same way. The puller is going the other way again. But we're in a better position now. There's 4 people up top over their 3. So they run a running back for the jet sweep. You got more people over there. It's pretty much dead in the water, but still, how many yards?
Enough. So here's another thing that I saw just from because I'm the safeties coach for us. So there's certain things that I teach to try to help us out with this. Because again, as I said, I don't like to walk my linebacker out this much. I like to bring my safety a little bit closer. But they got better athletes than we're dealing with at high school. So, their rules are a little bit different. But I want to draw attention to Malachi. He's over the slot receiver here at the top of the screen. So we can tell where his eyes are by his face mask, right? So right now he's looking inside of the quarterback. He's still looking inside of the quarterback. He turns his eyes to his man, but he then, at this point, right now, he's looking at the quarterback.
Yep.
This picture screams run.
It's run. Linemen are downfield.
I mean, even the receiver that he's supposed to be covering is stalk blocking him. So I want you to kind of just watch the next couple frames of what Malachi does here. It takes him. It's fast, but it matters. We get to about this point here. He's still shuffling. He's looking at the quarterback, and he's still shuffling.
Yeah, we're way late. Someone should have been hauling run.
Right. So what I do, at least 4 minutes every day, we do key reads, and a lot of guys, and I don't know, maybe they don't have the same key reads. A lot of guys or a lot of coaches tell their guys to, hey, look at the end man on the line of scrimmage and find out what he's doing to tell you run or pass. If you're looking at the end man on the line of scrimmage, that is run all the way. That's a down block. That should be screaming run to you. I teach our guys to look at the quarterback because at least at our level, is like, look, that left tackle or right tackle is not going to be as polished as the quarterback is. The guy who has the most routine and the cleanest presentation of what the play is going to be the quarterback. So we have a couple rules. If quarterback is in gun, he catches the ball and it goes up to his chin, that is automatically pass. That quickly, it's pass. If ball is down, it's ball down, wait. If it stays down, it's run. If it's ball down, ball up, it's pass. I know that's a lot of words, but we get really good at it to where we see run action like this in this picture. We're still in our scooch technique. But this point right here, it is run. And I show this to my safeties every week. What we do, I just pick a couple of plays. It doesn't even matter what play it is. And I have them look at the timestamp. And I say, hey, look, within 0.6 seconds, the quarterback is going to tell you whether it's run or pass. Every time. And the fact that we're looking at the quarterback and we're still shuffling, trying to play pass coverage, I think is the thing that allows this play to get as many yards as he can. Because if he triggers on it, like Caleb Down does from way back there, and I still think he's even a little late. But the point is, the point that I'm trying to make is look at where Caleb Downs is. He's standing at the 30, which is 13 yards off right now, and Malachi Moore is 6 yards off. And Caleb Downs makes contact on the ball carrier before Malachi Moore does. And it's about a 7-yard difference between the two.
Yeah. So Okay, well, you guys see that, and again, there's a lot of that JT, and that's why I'm not the sky is falling kind of guy, but when you're playing against Middle Tennessee, and okay, we gave up 200 yards of offense. We did score. They had kind of had us on the ropes for a minute. It's kind of alarming to me a little bit that there's much talk, and when we played very physical and did some things of that nature that were very, very good. But this right here, this could be our last play because I know we're
Yeah, it is our
almost
last
an
play,
hour and a
actually,
half
I think.
into this. This bothers me, man, because I know we've been talking about this
Yeah.
for at least 2 years.
Yeah, so this is where I want Marvin Constant to come back on and be, hey, see, look, Pete Golden wasn't the problem. It's
Right.
just your damn linebackers don't want to cover the back. That's fine. So they
Well,
start on actual
so
quads.
let me I'm gonna preface this to you, okay, before you get there, because you're talking about Marvin, Pete Golden, and I don't want to talk about the mastermind, but it seems like because this keeps carrying over,
Oh,
what
well,
is
that's
Nick
what I
Saban
said.
saying about? What is he saying about this? Because it just seems like he's saying, "Hey, let him throw the damn ball to the running back because they ain't gonna have enough patience to keep doing it, keep doing it, and keep doing it." But that ain't true for some people when they're looking at this because we're giving up a lot of plays out of the backfield, and we're going to be playing some dynamic running backs,
Mm-hmm.
and we can't afford to do something like this. So you need to take a look at this. You guys can. So they start up in quads.
Yep. So they
Four
line up in
people down here to
quads.
the bottom.
They motion back to just a regular trip set. Okay. So we already know that at this point, down at the bottom of your screen, the go-to for a Saban coach defense is to go to special or stubby. They usually like to play stubby, which is what we talked about before. They're just going to man up the outside receiver and they're going to play cover two over the. They're going to play two read over the inside two receivers. Now on the backside, I don't necessarily know what they do on the backside, but how we run it is just I tell it as simple as this. So Jalen Key is the safety back there. We make an Uno call. We're just gonna man up that guy up top, and I tell the linebacker, "Hey, look, if that back goes out to your side, he's yours." That end of story. Because if the quarterback runs it, like there should be another linebacker to help you out with this. They're losing a
Yeah,
guy.
just JT, the way they're playing, though, man. I hear you. I'm going to let you finish your deal, but it just makes me think about what they were doing before because that their left guard pulls or the flow starts to the right, that backer at the top is going to start screaming to his left.
Well, yeah, but I
Or any kind
I
of
would,
action.
but we have. So I'll grant you that. Like there are ways. I'm not saying it's perfect because there are ways that
Yeah.
we can attack that. So we can call. We don't have to make an Uno call. We can make a cloud call, and we can play two read over the two receivers on that side, which is the now the
Yep.
second receiver is the running back,
Mhm.
and I can have the corner come off on that, or we can shouldn't be giving all my secrets out on the show, but we can also invert responsibilities. I won't give the name of it, but we can invert the responsibilities so that the corner and the safety are going to switch positions, and I can put the safety down there on the running back, and he's not going to play that from 10 yards. He's going to have to walk up because that's a little ridiculous. So we can make that call to tell the linebacker, "Hey, you no longer have coverage responsibilities on that back. I want you to stay in here." But with this particular play, ball up and you get pass set. So your
Right.
options are draw
Yep.
or take the back. And I guess what I'm saying is by default, I would be telling like camp rules, you got the back. And then when people start hitting us with draw, then I have ways in the system to unlock my backer so that he doesn't have the back out of the backfield. But the point
So,
is
so
somebody whether it's the corner, the safety, or the backer, is going to take that running back. He doesn't get to just run a flare route to where we can throw to him and then it just turned into a screen and we pick up 10 yards. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, and this is, I think this is probably my most disappointing play out of everything that we saw, just because I don't know. It's kind of hard for me. Like you said, there's so many different ways of view it, as you have so eloquently said about this. That I mean, look at number. I mean, he's blocked down the field 5 yards away from the doggone thing, and they got these pullers coming out here.
They basically turned this into a screen.
Yeah, it wasn't even looking like this is a house call. I mean, this is something they've seen and studied and said, dude, we're trying to get these big elephants out here and put these on these DBs. You just got to make somebody miss. You know, I don't even know their running back's name at Middle Tennessee, but man, this is a Georgia running back or something. It might be a little different, you know. I mean, look at all them blockers they got up there. So I think that's what hit me the most about that particular play. I think we're gonna have to fix like real quick this week. So you know, getting into the Tennessee game, just seeing these type of plays here. I don't know how much of this we'll see, but there's enough of it that I think they can figure out how to exploit it, even with whether you're throwing the ball down here to these trip guys, something quick and just, you know, seeing if someone breaks one, or like JT said, you know, what are we doing on the weak side? Are we sound enough to be able to stop a weak side running attack, particularly if you got a running quarterback? The speed option or something out the backside problematic as well. But anyway, I think we're good, man. I think we gave them a lot of info tonight, and they're starting to get some things ready here in the bar. So I need to kind of cash out before they start getting too much karaoke that they're getting ready for. But I think we're gonna do this week in and week out, JT. If you're down with it, we'll figure out how to get the film and stuff up and going. But I think we should have a segment every week about this. I'll pull some plays. If you guys like that, please let us know.
Yep, leave a comment in the video if we need to do more or do less.
Because we can do this all day. We can talk some football. You know, we're gonna have guests on every single week. Talking Alabama with tons of Alabama football. I didn't even look to see who our guests were next week. It might be who is it?
I don't know, but Jose is asking me about it. So I said I don't know who it is, but Jose is asking me about it. I owe him some copy. So Elijah Ford says, "I love this. Keep it up." Well, thank you, Elijah.
Yes, Marvin Constant. Marvin Constant will be on.
Speak of the devil.
So he's going to be coming on. I picked him because we want to be able to switch up from week to week, have someone with the offensive mind. Bo Scarborough's going to be a regular on the show. We're going to have Ryan Fowler coming on. We're even going to have some other guests. Just talking a lot of football, inside football, Alabama football, particularly on that. And then we'll always try to keep this piece in there. So y'all spread the word for us and let us know what we're doing here on Teague Take. A lot of talk, analysis, and then let's really talk on the board. And I'll be picking that. Me and JT will pick the plays, but I'll probably spend most of the time trying to figure it out and give us something good, like we did with Jalen Milroe, and maybe something we have a little bit of concern about. There's probably going to be a lot of it this Tennessee game, which I'll be at. So last little piece, two things I need to say, JT, and then we're going to call it a night. First of all, thank you to the Lantern, always hosting me out here. We're doing Alabama watch parties out here now, right? So there's going to be an Alabama watch party here for the Texas game this week. Make sure you get out here and come check it out. We had a big old party out here. I done ran John Andrew Freitag out because JT, you know, he always loses on Wednesday night, but then he tried to challenge me on Saturday in front of the alumni group. He lost again. He knocked the 8-ball in.
Come
again,
on,
so he
John.
don't want to come play me anymore. Yep. And a very special one on September 16th. September 16th, that's against South Florida, or where we're playing. I'm going to be out here on that Saturday at the Bama party and give in-game commentary like I've done before in the past. So I will be here at the watch party doing more stuff like this.
Do you want to you want to reveal the exclusivity on that already, or we waiting?
Yeah, that will be on Millions. I did send that to them. I don't know if they put it up.
It is up. It is up.
Okay, so we want to leave it only on Millions.co. We haven't talked a whole lot about that yet, but maybe we'll start sending out some things where you can find some exclusive content where you can watch in-game, basically a watch party where you can be at home, in the bar, wherever you're at, and get to hear from me, ask me questions, and JT as well if he's available, depending on when his film sessions are and what he's doing with the grandkids. But we had a really good time with it last year, and we'll do it again that game. So 9-16, come out for the Alabama watch party. I'm sorry, 9-9 Texas game watch party. Come on out here. I won't be here. I'm going to be in Tuscaloosa watching the game. 9-16, I'll be here at the bar, shaking hands and talking about the game. All right? So thank you.
And if you, for some reason, don't feel like watching Alabama, Texas, I mean, we're playing on Bally Sports, I think, so you can find us. You can find some JP2 football at the Star at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. I'll send you some text messages. I won't give it away. I'll just say, good play. Well, you're going to watch it like, ooh, you missed one. You missed something. I'll do something like that. Keep your phone buzzing on the sideline. But all right, man, it's been a long one tonight. We apologize for the length, but I think it was well worth it. Come on, man, give me my little outro music. Whatever you got right there.
Yeah, I forgot because I closed the show earlier today. Hold on. There we go.
Oh, there it is, yeah. So that means it's time for us to get up out of here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Make sure you tell all your friends about Teague Steak. And let them know we're going to be on every week, Wednesday, 8:15 Central Time, PM. See you next week. Deuces.